I'm Councilmember Jose Huizar. We will first go through the consent items, and then we will go through some commission appointments, and I believe we only have one item today on the agenda. Item number 5 will go on consent. Item number 6 will go on consent. I'm sorry, Mr. Englander, item 5 is, you're good with that to go on consent? Okay, item number 6, that's an item in your district. Item number 6 will go on consent. Item number 7 on consent. Just checking to see if we do have 8. On 8 we do have cards, so keep that item. On 9 we have cards, so we'll keep that item, take it off consent. Number 11, we have no cards. Oh yeah, we do have cards, so take that off consent. So you'll go through the appointments now. First item, please, if that could be read into the record.
Sure. Item 1, Councilman, is a communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Mr. John Mack to the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. Welcome. How are you? It's always great having you in these chambers. Thank you for your service. Anything you want to share with the committee?
No, just thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's been a wonderful experience serving on the Planning Commission, making that shift, and thank you and your colleagues for your consideration of reappointment. Look forward to it.
Well, thank you for your overall service to the city. You've had a long historic record of service to our great city, so thank you for your service and to this commission. Now, any questions or comments, Mr. Englander?
Oh, well, no, I know Mr. Mack for many years, and although I have to admit I had never read through your resume, and it's voluminous with awards and special honorees and organizations and affiliations. I think, for somebody who's truly dedicated his life to public service and local charities and philanthropic organizations, it's pretty incredible. And I've known you a long time, but I haven't actually. It's the first time I've looked through your entire resume. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. Good to have you back, and appreciate your service to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move this item, and this is in council when?
Mr. Mack will be in council next Tuesday, the 9th.
Tuesday the 9th. Okay. We do have one public comment card, Antonia Ramirez.
Thank you very much. You can never trust anybody here. Mr. John Mack, I'm certainly not an expert on the planning and land use management data and all the particulars. But one thing is for sure, we as law-abiding citizens and taxpayers realize that our previous real estate commodity our precious real estate commodity is not where it should be. But bad decisions maybe, poor planning, or maybe pandering to certain groups or certain status quos. Will you please, if you look down across the street, the mall downstairs where CVS is, it looks depressing, not much merchandise or eateries, and it was an utter waste of precious development. Hence, on your reappointment, we want you to develop homes for our military veterans and pilots. But having said that, I just have one question for you. When you retire the commission, will you have absolutely no regrets?
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll move this item and move it to full council with no objections. Thank you. Item number 2.
Item 2, Councilman, is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Christina O. to the Central LA Planning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. O. Right here, can you step up to the microphone, please? And thank you for your willingness to serve on this commission, and anything you'd like to share with the committee or your interest in serving on this commission.
Hi, council members. Thank you for having me here today. I've worked for the city of Los Angeles in the past, so I'm excited to serve for the city that I love in a different capacity. I'm very excited for it.
Great, thank you. Well, your knowledge of the city will go a long way in your service on this commission, where you'll make a number of important decisions. And the Central Los Angeles Area Planning Commission is perhaps one of the busiest in terms of area planning commissions, just given the growth in the central part of our city. So thank you for your commitment to serve on this commission. Any questions or comments, Mr. Englander?
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. And then this will go to committee when? To council?
On Wednesday, June 10th.
Thank you very much. With that, we also have been joined with by Mr. Cedillo, so we'll have a unanimous to move forward with that item, number 2. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 3, Councilman, is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Samantha Millman to the City Planning Commission.
Well, welcome, Ms. Millman. We saw you here not too long ago when you were appointed to the Central Area Planning Commission, and it seems you've been elevated and promoted.
I have.
And as I mentioned earlier, you're working perhaps one of the busiest area planning commissions. And if you look at all our commissions, I would venture to guess that this is probably one of the busiest ones and one of the most that you have time commitments you'd have to do, given the projects involved in this. But anything you'd like to share with the committee, or what you learned in this Central Area Planning Commission, and what you hope to bring to these Citywide Planning Commission?
Absolutely. First of all, it's truly an honor to be able to serve on the City Planning Commission. I know that I'm replacing a woman who is a titan in her community and in our community. So to be able to serve alongside the folks on this City Planning Commission is an honor in and of itself. Central Area Planning Commission, even though the projects were not as large as the projects I'm going to see in City Planning Commission, they were still very important to the community. And I think as president of Central Area Planning Commission, what I tried to do is make sure everyone who came in front of us felt heard, and that regardless of how we ruled on a matter, we were following proper procedure. We were making sure that we were looking at every aspect of the case and hearing every aspect of an appeal before we rendered a decision. And I look forward to working on City Planning Commission and giving some input on policy as well. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. Any questions or comments? No. Well, congratulations, and we
Thank
look
you
forward to
very
working
much.
with you on this commission.
Thank you.
Say hello to your brother and your husband. So with that, we'll move this item to full council.
On Wednesday, June 10th.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item 4, Councilman, is a communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Ms. Janie Kim to the South Valley APC.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
This is a reappointment to the South Valley Area Planning Commission, and thank you for your service. Anything you'd like to share with the committee?
Not much, except that about a year ago when I was before you, I was 9 months pregnant. So a year later, I feel a lot lighter, but with a lot more knowledge. It's been a great experience. I've learned a lot, and thank you for the opportunity to serve further.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to working with you as well. You're a CD4 resident, correct? So
Just recently, correct?
just recently. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Went
Thank
from
you.
corrects to CD.
Any questions or comments? No.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll move this to when in council?
Tuesday, June 9th.
Tuesday, June 9th. Okay. Thank you very much. And now we'll go back to item number 8.
Item 8, Councilman, is a zone change ordinance for 13 new single-family dwellings on 13 separate lots. It's a small lot subdivision in CD 6.
Okay. we probably, if you could just give us a brief overview on this. Just very
Good
brief.
afternoon, Councilman. Yes, it'll be brief. Commission approved this on November 13th. The applicant asked for 13. Commission approved 9 units. Commission denied the plan amendment, approved the zone change to TQRD5.
Okay. Any particular issues that were raised by this? Any particular issues that were raised by this?
The community actually only wanted to allow them 6. The applicant wanted 13. This was a compromise to 9, which was more in favor of what the community wanted. The community was extremely, I'm sorry, by the way, my name is Tom Glick, I never said that. The community wanted more articulation along the front. There is a member of the community that is here today that will be asking, since this has been reduced to 9 units, that the setbacks for the 2 units along Firmament be more commensurate with the setbacks in the surrounding single-family neighborhood. And that's not an issue now that they're being reduced from 13 to 9. But I don't believe the applicant is here to even represent that today.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Antonio Ramirez. After Antonio Ramirez is Jim McQuiston and then Michael Mitchell.
Thank you. I'd like to admonish Aaron Mensch, Firmament Village LLC, and all the others involved. I'm all for it with the demolition of the existing single-family dwelling. However, with the proposed construction of 13 new single-family dwellings, I would hope that the surrounding community and the residents would start approving or would allow military veterans and their families to come into the communities and stop ostracizing them and stop renting or selling to these wetbacks and gangbangers who come in only to bring in trouble, drugs, violence and destruction, graffiti, violence and graffiti and all the other vandalism. And that's why you have contributed to homelessness.
Yeah.
So gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are asking the Planning Commission to oversee who they're renting out to or selling out to, because again, as a community, we are all eventually responsible for these losses and the destruction of communities. Thank you.
Ms. Ramirez, I just want to remind you as well that when you do public comment, just please speak about the particular item on the agenda. If you are going to give broad general statements like that, they are not relevant to the item before us, and I will ask that we cut you off from speaking. Thank you. Jim McQuiston.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, she's still yelling out and disrupting this meeting, and I would ask that if that continues, the chair ask her to leave the chambers.
Sure, thank you. Ms. Ramirez, if you continue to shout, we would ask our sergeant to please escort you from this meeting as to your disruption for this meeting. Thank you very much. Mr. McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston. I put in a statement, looks like a public comment, but it's universal. There's several of these Planning Commission matters that are coming before you, which should have gone to the APC instead of the Planning Commission. And it's really a problem of disregarding what the voters did in approving the area planning commissions. And we respectively request you to take care. We've also sent this to the City Planning Commission too, that these things that come before them, and we did put a criterion in that's pretty easy to detect whether or not it's supposed to be going to the Area Planning Commission. If it really doesn't have any environmental effect at all, then obviously it can't affect the whole city, and it's a matter for the Area Planning Commission to look at, and that would really satisfy the voters much better.
Thank you, Mr. McQuiston. Michael Mitchell.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Michael Mitchell. I represent the residents of Firmament Avenue, which is surrounding and adjacent to the property to be developed. I represent over 75 of the neighbors on the street and at the adjacent properties. We are firmly against the development as the developer, the 13 units that have been proposed. Given the congestion, the change in the neighborhood, and the noise, etc., a development such as this would be causing. We do ask the council to accept the Planning Commission's recommendation for the 9. Ideally, we'd like it to stay at 6, but in the spirit of compromise, I guess, if that's in your power, we'd like to stay as it is. We think a good development would be with 6, but we'll take the 9. And in addition, as Mr. Glick had mentioned, the original plan for the developer was to have the properties closest to the street, very close to the street, that do not reflect the setbacks of the properties to the south. And we ask you to make that a part of the condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A quick question for our staff. This is, Mr. McQuiston has raised an issue or maybe to city attorney. Some of these projects have been going to the citywide planning commission, and the issue is raised as to whether they should have gone to the area planning commission. Is that?
Well, I can address that. Tom Glick, City Planning. It's a plan amendment. Those by charter have to go to commission.
Okay, so
there was a general plan amendment
Any
request.
charter amendment goes to the citywide?
Any amendment to the general plan has to go to City Planning Commission because
the general plan amendments.
a general plan amendment is of regional significance.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, thank you, and I'd recommend that we move this item and approve it. In as much as there's been some concessions in working with the local community. There's been a second by Mr. Cedillo, so ordered with no objection. Okay. Next item is item number 9. We have public speaking card.
Yes, item 9, Councilman, is the city attorney prepare ordinance to delete the hours of operation in the Colorado Boulevard specific plan that denote 9 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay. Mr. McQuiston.
Yes, you have my statement. It's the same on this. You will find that that's not true. The Area Planning Commission can also take care of plan amendments in some cases. The question is whether or not it has an environmental effect on the city or whether it has an environmental effect on the area. That's very easy to tell the difference. The Planning Commission, the Planning Department tried to make it on the basis of how many square feet the proposal was. But of course, square feet in a city that's this size doesn't really mean much unless it's like 10 billion square feet, because our FAR, if we generate the whole build out, is so immense that one project alone doesn't make any difference at all. However, airports do, and the harbor does, and there are some that, even though they're local, they do affect the whole city. So we do look at the environmental impact to see whether or not it's local or not.
Thank you, Mr. McQuiston. Thank you, and I'd ask my colleagues for an aye vote on this. This is an amendment to the Colorado specific plan in Eagle Rock, which will allow businesses to operate longer hours and be more flexible with their hours. Right now, they are at a disadvantage with neighboring cities and neighboring neighborhoods, and so this will allow us to have a more robust business quarter. It's a simple fix, but I think it will have a long-lasting positive impact. Thank you. Second by Mr. Cedillo, with no objections, so ordered. Thank you. Number 11.
Number 11 is the Sylmar Community Plan Update, Councilman, and General Plan Amendment. No, that was 10. 11 is being continued.
11, I'm sorry, yes. We're going to continue item number 11 to, there's cards on this. We will, Mr. David Modern, we're going to continue this item. We typically do not, we have public comment at one hearing or the other. But we will take you up now. We are going to continue this, and we'll keep the roll open, I guess, for when it comes back. But why don't you come on up, David Modern? This is to August. August 4th, correct?
August 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, committee. Since I wasn't sure exactly whether or not this item would be continued, I felt necessary that I show up and be prepared to speak, and since I'm here, I figured I would do so. I'd like to just point out that the project does not abide by the small lot guidelines, is inexplicably exempt from some, and does not meet other parts of the LA Municipal Code, is in complete disagreement with certain policy objectives of the LA General Plan and Silver Lake Community Plan, and does not even meet one of the standards set forth in the small lot ordinance itself. The mitigated negative declaration is woefully inadequate and boilerplate. It does not accurately evaluate the actual environmental impacts and completely ignores the pre-existing conditions that makes this neighborhood particularly sensitive to this development. The neighbors, the only parties with the experiential and situational awareness, have been trying to make the city aware of these conditions for the last 15 years to no avail. A fair argument exists that the project will significantly impact the neighborhood in several ways, especially
Thank you, sir.
when not considering the pre-existing hazardous road and traffic conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, this item will be continued to August 4th. Antonia Ramirez. And again, Ms. Ramirez, you are very well aware of the
And
rules.
again, thank you for the censorship and the interruptions.
Ms. Ramirez, you are very, let me finish, and I will do the same to you. If you respect me, I will respect you. I wasn't
You're
finished.
a public servant. You're constantly censoring me and
finished
throwing
with
me
my
out.
sentence. Ms. Ramirez, you often attend daily council meetings. You know the rules. If you do not speak to the subject, I am going to cut you off. Thank you.
Let's use
may
a
go.
draconian approach. Representatives Alan Dana, Motive Incorporated, David Rand, Ambrewster, Goldsmith, and Delvac LP have contributed to urban toxic blight and chronic homelessness. Now we're asking that again, if these constructions are going to be built, may they be safely and environmentally be safe and constructed. Now many of the homes that are being constructed are very thin and that you can walk by or outside and you could hear everything that is being said inside. And that contributes to neighbor problems. And that creates a lot of hostility between neighbors and again, disturbance of the peace and a lot of problems. And that's why the police are constantly being called out. So I would urge all of you developers who are trying to cut corners here and there and everywhere, build these homes a little thicker, please.
Thank you. Item number 10.
Item 10 is the Sylmar Community Plan Update and General Plan Amendment, Councilman.
Good afternoon, council members. Connie Polini-Tipton, Senior Planner representing the Department of City Planning. I'm here with City Planner Anita Cerna and Associate Planner Priya Mendenhall, who are part of the Community Plan Update team for the Sylmar Community Plan. We're very pleased to be here today to present the Sylmar Community Plan Update for the Council's consideration. This plan has been much anticipated and much awaited by the community members, a few of whom are here this afternoon. Thank you for being here. As many of you may recall, in 2007, the department launched the update of almost 1/3 of its community plans, the land use plans for the city of Los Angeles. These updates are an important component of the department's maintenance and monitoring of its land use plans. These updates allow the plans to integrate the city's latest thinking on mobility, housing, and health policies consistent with its adopted plans. The major objective of the Plan Update program has been to create a more user-friendly plan text that not only documents a community's vision for the city's evolution and improvement, but also lays out improved implementation of its plans. The Sylmar plan represents this updated approach to community plans with new illustrated community plan text filled with illustrative photos, maps, and better written policies for more clear direction on how the community should be improved and its quality of life maintained. These plans are intended to be used by planners, community members, and decision makers and its policies are written as such, with those users in mind. Along with the revised plan text, zoning has been updated and corrected. An equine district has been revised and expanded for Sylmar, along with a new zoning overlay tool that presents much desired design standards for the community. The city's goal to accommodate anticipated growth is met with the Sylmar plan. However, there's a caveat. The overall development capacity is reduced compared to the existing plan on the books. This reflects considerations given to demographic trends and the geographic proximity to sensitive foothill areas. This is seen in the changes to the zoning that currently allow development that is inconsistent with the suburban and semi-rural feel of the community. Additionally, low-density residential areas have been rezoned to be consistent with this goal. The plan redistributes anticipated development potential that remains in the community to its commercial corridors and to the Metrolink station area. This is consistent with state, local, and regional policies. I'd like to invite Anita Serna up to describe additional plan features in a little more detail that highlights the benefits of the community plan update.
Thank you. My name is Anita Serna. I'm the city planner with the Department of City Planning. And I really can't express how excited I'm here to be before Plum. It's been a long time in the making. Selmar, that's why we're here for. Selmar is a unique 12 square mile community plan nestled in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. It's next to the Pacoima Wash. It's at the edge of the city, about 28 miles north of downtown Los Angeles. The community of Sylmar initially developed as an agricultural outgrowth of the city of San Fernando, where with rich soil, underground water supply, year-round warm climate that supported olive and citrus trees. Today, Sylmar is relatively a stable suburban community at the edge of the city where nearly 80,000 residents appreciate a slow suburban lifestyle that includes some of the city's few remaining equestrian neighborhoods. Over the next 15 years, population in Sylmar is anticipated to increase by only 8%, which is approximately up to 86,000 persons by the year 2030. And this represents about 1% of the overall total growth of the city. The existing community plan was last updated in 1997. In 2006, the city embarked on an effort to update several plans. The Sylmar was one of them. During this multi-year program, the planning department has had a great dialogue with the community, and this new updated revised community plan reflects those efforts. The following community themes emerged out of this process. The first one was preserving the semi-rural suburban character, protecting the area's natural resources and amenities, enhancing its commercial areas, redirecting development to areas near public transit services and other amenities, improving the built environment and design of new development, retaining its industrial uses for future employment opportunities and revenue to the city, and lastly, supporting a variety of mobility choices, including horseback riding as an alternative mode of transportation in Sylmar. This new plan embraces the unique natural amenities and qualities of the area. It values the equestrian culture and way of life in Sylmar while planning for new housing, commercial, and employment opportunities that complement and enhance the existing character of the area. This plan essentially tries to minimize any potential environmental impacts by embedding project features into the plan. Preservation of the semi-rural suburban character was at the heart of this update. As development pressures increase, the challenge of preserving the rural character also increases. Residents, like I said, enjoy the semi-rural lifestyle and want to protect the qualities that contribute to that way of life. This plan preserves single-family and equine-keeping neighborhoods by maintaining lower density residential land uses and limiting development along the foothills and near the Pacoima Wash and other resources. Overall, this plan would accommodate fewer residents and number of residential dwelling units when compared to the existing 1997 community plan. Based on projections, the community of Sylmar is expected to grow, but at a slower rate than what was anticipated under the existing community plan. This new plan would essentially accommodate approximately 10,000 fewer residents than under the existing community plan. In addition to the numerous land use and zone changes aimed at preserving the semi-rural suburban character of the area, the existing K district, or the equine keeping district, would be amended to expand the boundaries to include pockets of equine keeping lots west of San Fernando Road and along the area near Eldridge Avenue. In addition to the district boundaries being expanded, this district would include lot conditions such as setting aside a 2,000 square foot pad area for new subdivisions in order to ensure the keeping of horses is feasible and now and in the future. This new plan would also include goals and policies that support the development of an equestrian trail network throughout the community plan area, as well as include design guidelines for trail development and equine keeping lots. Many of the community's neighborhoods, including single and equine keeping neighborhoods, will be protected and not expected to change significantly as growth and development occurs in other parts of the community. This plan minimizes development within single-family neighborhoods and along the foothills and redistributes and shifts this development towards commercial areas and other areas near public transit and services, such as the areas along San Fernando Road and Foothill Boulevard. This is primarily accomplished again by doing zone changes to match the existing land use designation. Another key goal was to establish lively and walkable commercial areas. Input received during this process reflected a strong need to preserve commercial land for commercial uses, as well as making these commercial areas more walkable. This plan supports the creation and maintenance of distinctive commercial neighborhood districts, commercial areas that provide visual diversity, vary in intensities that complement the surrounding neighborhood, and provide opportunities for social interaction. Development intensities are designed to retain the low-scale building character of the area while redirecting more intense development near the Metrolink station on San Fernando Road. Areas where new development is encouraged will be supported by a new tool called the Sylmar Community Plan Implementation Overlay District, or the CPIO. This new tool is similar to a specific plan. It regulates land uses and includes design standards to ensure that new projects come in are aesthetically pleasing and fit in with the community's vision. The CPIO would address several concerns raised by the community, including limited development of residential units in commercial areas, restricting auto-oriented uses, establishing height limits, requiring projects to be more pedestrian-friendly. In general, typical projects that one would expect in these areas would range anywhere from 1 to 2 stories in your neighborhood districts, 2 to 3 stories near your centers, and about 3 to 4 stories near the Metrolink station. This plan ultimately protects the environment and expands recreational opportunities. This plan focuses on providing connections to regional open spaces, such as the Angeles National Forest. Staff worked really close with the community on developing an expansive trail network for horses and people to utilize. Over 25 miles of planned trails connecting the city's backbone network was including, providing tremendous recreational and mobility choices in the future. Overall, this new plan accomplishes many of the goals outlined by the community. It is able to accommodate the projected growth while preserving its valuable resources, protecting its residential neighborhoods, including its equestrian neighborhoods. This plan will improve the built environment, provide opportunities for much-needed goods and services, and retain its industrial base for future employment opportunities and revenue. As part of this process, an EIR was prepared for this plan. The draft EIR was published in October of 2012, with the final EIR being released in May of this year. The EIR concluded that there would be potential impacts. Most of these impacts will be focused in those areas where development is being redirected, and many of those impacts are construction related. When compared to the existing 1997 community plan, this plan reduces potential impacts. As discussed earlier, this plan included project features such as the equine keeping district and the CPIO, as well as numerous land use and zone changes to minimize development within residential neighborhoods and the foothills, reducing the overall potential impacts this plan may have on the environment. Staff concluded that this plan is the environmentally superior alternative. This plan reflects the goals and aspirations of the community, It meets local, state, and regional policies for sustainable land use planning and provides guidance for the design of new development. And ultimately, this plan is supported by the community, and the planning department is requesting that the council consider this for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. And I understand the council member represents this area is here. I'm going to ask Mr. Fuentes to please come up.
Thank you, Chairman Weezer and colleagues. I will be brief. I'm here largely to thank all of you for hopefully your concurrence with the recommendation from staff. This is a very, very good work product, and it's one that, as you all know, has been a product of over 7 years. And prior to 1999, Sylmar was shared by Council District 12. My colleague Mitch Englander and myself, then staff, had an opportunity to serve this area. Now, after redistricting in 2000, it became all under Council District 7. And it's a very, very important plan. One that, as a council person, I've tried to abide by the proposed plan, trying to live within the new constraints. But there is nothing better, as you all know, than to live within the constraints of an adopted Sylmar community plan. And so I'm here to thank you in advance and the stakeholders who participated in this process. It is a very, very good work product. I had the chance to witness this as I left the city in 2006, and now to be back as the elected representative, it gives me a lot of joy to see it finally getting through. The plan, as you heard Anita expertly describe, maintains the unique character of Sylmar in the northeast San Fernando Valley. It maintains its semi-rural suburban feel, and it makes it concise so that it increases livability in that community. It strives to, and I believe it achieves a balance by protecting single-family residential properties while acknowledging and promoting mixed corridor use, as well as the I'm thinking of the word in Spanish, desarrollo, the development of commercial land. And it does that in a way by monitoring and maintaining healthy transit corridors. It's a plan that we are very excited about. I'm excited that my community has come out to support it, and I urge an aye vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fuentes, and thanks you for coming to support this item in your district. And we will now go to public comment. A new job, and then Jackie Benaframe, Sam Cordova. The first three, please, speakers.
My name is Ann Job, and I'm the president of the Sylmar Neighborhood Council. And I'm here speaking on their behalf because on May the 28th, the council voted to support this plan, this long-awaited Sylmar community plan, and we voted to support it and ask for you to move it forward. I'm here to make it clear that the committee that Sylmar needs for you to move it as expeditiously as possible with the recommendation to support and approve. Sylmar desperately needs the protection of this plan, and as well as probably the most important thing is that we need more commercial development that is done in a responsible way. We're nestled in the mountains, and that's a good thing. And we appreciate that the equestrian community is being, and I want to thank Anita Serna.
Okay, thank you. Jackie Beneframe, Sam Cordova. Mr. Cordova, Jackie goes first, and then you will go next. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Jackie Van Ephraim. I'm a representative of SF Polk Management. We own a commercial property on San Fernando Road and look forward to the development of this plan to help us go forth and have more productive commercial enterprises in this zone, not only on our property, but all the surrounding area. It benefits everybody. And yes, we do want to preserve the feel of the community because it makes it much more pleasant to have customers who feel that this is their neighborhood, that they care, because then they treat the properties better. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cordova, Sam Cordova, and then Cherry, I think it's Bliss.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Sam Cordova. I have lived in Sylmar for 54 years. And I now take my hat off to all of you, asking that you pass this plan that this great planning commission has come up with. I also take my hat off in respect for these people, these planners, Priya, Anita, Serna, who have spent countless hours to do a magnificent job. And I say this not because I always agreed with them. No, I do it out of respect, because these people are responsible and they are courteous.
Thank you, sir.
For that, I thank them, and I thank you.
Thank you. Sherry, and then Joe Greblo.
Good afternoon. My name is Cherie Blows. I am on the land use for the Neighborhood Council, and I'm also president of the Sylmar Chamber. And Anita and I have been working on this plan. We've had 50 meetings, and we really are in support of this. Please pass this. We have been fighting the development that comes in and takes our commercial space, and it puts up apartment buildings and condos. And the equestrian lifestyle is so important for our community. It is what we're based on practically, and we have so many equestrians that ride our trails every single day, and we really are in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Greblo? Greblo? None of the above?
Close enough, sir. Greblo. I'm a representative of the Sylmar Hang Gliding Association, which is one of many nonprofit organizations in the town of Sylmar. We've been in that recreating in the mountains above Sylmar for nearly 40 years, well, over 40 years. And as a small, non-mainstream organization, it's easy for us to understand over the years the difficulties in planning efforts in big city governments to look at and encompass the needs of all users in society, not just the major mainstream ones. And when Anita's team began this project, we were very impressed with her interest and her efforts in going throughout the community, reaching out to not just those who were large and powerful, but really trying to understand from the community what was important, what do the citizens, what do the residents, what do the businesses want. And throughout the whole process that we've watched, we've been welcomed, we've been listened to, and we've been largely accommodated.
Thank you.
So I want to thank, I know you know how hard they work, and I'm sure everybody else does, but we want to express our appreciation to Anita and her staff, and we hope that this committee will recommend passage of this wonderful plan and that the council will approve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you all for coming out to give your input on this presentation, and I want to thank as well the planning department for the work you did to get us to this point. We know these things are long-term projects, and I also want to thank the council member of the area for coming to give some input. As you know, these plan updates, community plan updates, are so important to translate the values of what the community would like to see. It certainly seems like the work has been done here. And this is a good example of the type of responsiveness we need in planning for the future. The city is attempting to upgrade its community plans throughout the city. And let me congratulate the Sylmar Community Plan Update for being one of the first to move forward in this the recent cohort of plans that are moving forward. And at the same time, the plan achieves innovation by utilizing planning tools like the CPIO and updates to the K districts, and that is something that's unique, and want to congratulate you for that as well. So thank you so much, and I want to see if there's any other questions or comments from my colleagues. Mr. Cedillo.
happy to join you. It's one of the most unique parts of this incredible city, and one of the things I enjoy about being on the council is the deference that we have for each other's districts. And again, I applaud them for being one of the first to come forth with the updates on the plans. Happy to move it. Second.
Thank you. Well, with that, we'll move the item.
A couple of actions that need to be taken, Councilman, to read into the record, to adopt a zone change ordinance for the Sylmar community plan, and 2, to request the city attorney to prepare 2 ordinances, 1 for the new K districts, and 2, to establish the community plan implementation overlay district for Sylmar.
Yes, and the new conditions on the K district, correct? Yes. Okay, with that, we'll move this item to full council, and with no objection, so ordered. Thank you. Congratulations. Now, I think that's the end of our agenda. Is that correct? Public comment?
Well, there was also the weekly report from Mr.
Any item on the weekly report? Anything to report? Nothing to report. Yeah. We'll go to public comment now. And our first speaker on the public comment is Antonia Ramirez.
I came to the Land Planning and Land Use Management Committee because I am a law-abiding Mexican American. I'm not a wetback, I'm not a gangbanger, but I believe that as a law-abiding tax-paying person who has also dealt with property issues, I think it's my right as a human being to come here. Now you say self-respect. I respect myself as a Mexican American because I want people to know that I believe and stand in principle. So do me a favor, Mitchell Englander and Jose Huizar, don't predicate your weaknesses onto me because it takes balls to be right here and stand up and do what I do. You could never do what I do. Ask anybody, ask the police department, because they'll tell you. Again, it is my right as a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, okay? And as a public servant, you owe me the respect. It's the Latinos think that you owe me, I'm doing you a favor. No, sir. On the contrary, it is I who's doing you a favor because I'm teaching you a thing or two. Again, just because I say wetbacks and gangbangers does not mean...
Your time is up. Your time is up.
Yeah, learn some common dignity.
Your time is up. Jim McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston, you know, I've been coming to you a lot on process lately, and the reason I'm coming is because the Supreme Court has really made some sea changes in how we address things, and I am concerned about the economics of the situation. And that's why I'm spending so much time on these things. One of the things that really bothers me is when they say we can only make 4 changes in our general plan a year. We can make a zillion changes at one time, but only 4 times a year. And that's almost impossible in a city this size, especially when we're divided up into community plans, because each one of those changes that's a change in the general plan. And so we really have to work with planning and figure out how we can do this reasonably and really start thinking about the bigger picture rather than these bits and pieces, because that's what we have to do to make this city greater.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. McQuiston. Any other items before us?
No, Council.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.